All right. Welcome back to Bobby Bob's Forge down here, southeast Louisiana. Pretty cold day down here today. It's only in the 40s, rainy, nasty. So I'm not going to be doing any forging outside today. Unfortunately, as you get older, your old bones don't want to stand out in that rain or that wind. So today I'm trying something new. You see, I got a little setup going over here. Put on Facebook last night, hey, anybody got any ideas for scales for handles? Got a lot of good ideas, from carbon fiber to deer antler. Unfortunately, I haven't shot a deer in years, so I don't have any deer antler. So if anybody has any they'd like to spare laying around, hook me up on Facebook. I'll send you my address and mail them down. Who knows, you might get a free knife out of the deal. But anyway, I looked up this pour on high gloss acrylic finish, and I've used this before. I've used it to coat some of my handles. I put on knives when I use a wrap, like a string wrap, and it really works pretty good. So what I was thinking was, instead of doing it as just a paint on sealer kind of thing, let's get a container and see if I can't pour it, 1/4 inch thick. Maybe put some color in it. I have some color from when I used to make rubber fishing baits, molded them. I've done everything, believe me. A lot of hobbies. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to make material that I can make into knife scales. So how I'm going to do it, this kit comes in 2 parts. You have a resin right here, and then you have a hardener right here. And by reading the directions, which for a man that is rare to do, you mix 2 equal parts. So I matched the cups. I drew lines on the cups, so I have equal part resin, equal part hardener. You can mix that all up in 1 cup for 2 minutes. And then after the 2 minutes, you pour it into a clean cup and you stir it again for another minute. So a 3-minute stir time. And then I had this from when I was making some rubber molds to forge some gears out, which worked pretty good, by the way. It's a universal mold release. So I sprayed some of that down in here. Ooh, that'll get you a buzz. We'll let that do whatever it has to do. And the theory behind this is, once I get that poured in there, I'll add the color. And tomorrow, 12 to 24 hours later, that should be a hard piece of acrylic that I could possibly use for knife scales. The thing that's really bad now, and I'd have to say it's due to our current administration, everything is going up. The price of metal, the price of scales, the price of micarta, the price of propane. It's really going through the roof. So I'm just trying to find some ways to do some stuff with stuff I have laying out around the house. And who knows, it might work out and be pretty cool. So put my rubber gloves on, because this stuff does get gooey. Even though it is cold outside. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Alright, so we're going to mix this stuff. Excuse me. It's 1 part hardener to 1 part resin. So we'll pour the hardener in. And we'll get it to an equal level there in the cup. Okay, so that's my hardener. You can see it's pretty close up there to the line. And then we will match it up with the resin in a separate cup. This stuff wasn't too expensive for this kit. It's a quart kit. It was $29. And I'm probably using way too much, but I've never done it like this before, so this was trial and error. So we got the 2 poured up. We're going to pour the resin or the hardener. You can do either one together. And I got my little stir stick, so we're going to scrape all that excess off of this first cup so that it's still equal amounts. Alright, let me throw this in the garbage. Alright, then we're going to stir this for 2 minutes, it says. So for 2 minutes we'll stir it. If you have something to do, you want to go get yourself a little hydration, you want to go let the dogs out, check the mail, or see what's going on Days of Our Lives, feel free. So we're going to stir. Like I said, the weather down here is really turning cold. We thought winter was over, but we are supposed to get down to 28 degrees on Saturday morning, which really is shitty. Seeing how the tomato plants are already started in the greenhouse. Pepper plants are started. Potatoes are actually starting to come up. It's been really nice and warm. Heck, last Monday I think it was 84 degrees down here. So having a cold snap come through this late in the season really bites. But hopefully it'll be the last one, and then we'll be staying in the hotter weather. So once we get this stirred up, you put it in another cup and you stir it for an additional minute. Now when I do that, that's when I'm going to put the color in, because I'm not 100% sure if that color is compatible with this stuff. I mean, I don't think we're going to have a explosion or nothing. I got to get a different stir because this one is just way too small. So be right back. Okay, we're going to sacrifice a screwdriver. You don't want to use any kind of electric drill or anything like that because it will build up too much heat and it will cause it to harden up prematurely. So get a good stir on this. Paperwork says this is the most important part, which I could understand why. Now this gets a lot of air bubbles in it while you're stirring it. I've noticed this before when I was using it. A lot of times on the internet you'll see people put in a vacuum chamber with a vacuum pump when they're doing them high dollar tables and all that. We're not going to do that. If you let it sit for about 15-20 minutes after you pour it, and then you hit it with a little bit of a flame, maybe from a butane lighter or a butane torch, it'll take them bubbles clean out of there. So I can already feel it. It's starting to stir a lot easier. I don't have a timer, but I'm sure I'm pretty close to 2 minutes. I'm sure all you people sitting out there listening to me talk and watching me stir to say, yeah, you're at 2 minutes, move it forward. So alright, we're gonna put this over here, and of course everything will be gooed up by the time I'm done. But alright, now we're gonna pour this into a clean cup, add the color, and I'm gonna stir it for another minute after that. Again, I have never tried using it this way. I've seen it on the internet where they make all these awesome tables and they encase, you know, all kinds of stuff in there, light bulbs and so I figured, hell, I got it. Might as well try it. So alright, so I'm gonna try a blue color that I have. Just shake it up real good and put that in there and give it a mix, and hopefully this will, oh yeah, it's turning blue. Alright, well, that's something. Alright, so we went from clear to a pretty cool looking blue. Now these dyes that I poured in here, those are dyes, like I said, I used to make rubber fishing baits. So they're basically just a plastic dye. So I have no doubt that they should be compatible with this stuff. And if not, we'll just throw it in the garbage. Like I said, if there's a way where we can make some scales and make a whole bunch of scales for a third of the cost they want to pay for them, then you know that's what we're gonna do. So stir it up for another couple seconds here. I'm gonna use the screwdriver. Get a little bit better of a stir on it. It says scrape the sides, so we're scraping the sides. I think that's going to be good. Alright, so clean off my screwdriver as best as I can. Once it gets harder, I'll probably be able to just sand it off. So, alright, so that's what we have. It looks like a blue cocktail. So we're going to pour it into the container I have here. But I guess it's a pretty good thing that it came out a little bit thick. You know, that gives you some material to work with when you're making scales, because you always take off a pretty good amount. Alright. Alright, so let me take these gloves off. I'll zoom in on that so y'all can see what we got there. Alright, so this is what we have. We have a bowl of blue goo. But seeing how we're learning as we do this, I'm going to try something else. I'm going to get a clean stir stick. And I have another color here. It's called Pearlescent. So I'm going to shake this up real quick. And I'm just going to put some lines over the top of this. And take the stick and just sort of like swirl it around. And see what it comes out like. Like I said, it might work and it might not work at all. That's a pretty good thickness. It's probably about a 1/2 inch thick for scales if it works. So let's try the Pearlescent. And I'm just gonna put a couple drops in there. I guess that's good. I'm gonna take the stick. And we'll just stir it around a little bit like it's a frosting on a cake. I'll try to get to all the sides, that way if it does work we have a good color mix on all the sides. Alright. It's doing all kinds of funky stuff. I guess now what we do is let it go till tomorrow. I'll show you what I mean with the bubbles here. Actually, I like that color. Boy, if this works, it's gonna be pretty awesome. So let me get my little lighter here a minute. So you see there's a lot of bubbles in there, but you take your lighter and you just go over it like this real light. You can see how it's glassing over. Sort of burns them bubbles out, which is pretty cool. So that's where we're at for today. We'll let it go, let it sit overnight. It takes 24 hours to fully cure. Hopefully this color is compatible and it doesn't screw up the curing time. But yeah, it looks pretty neat. Huh. All right. So let me zoom you all back out. All right, so that's where we're at today. We're gonna end it there. I'm gonna turn the heater on in the shop and call it a day. We'll come out tomorrow and see what this looks like. We'll definitely post a video, whether it's a failure or success, because y'all are learning right alongside with me. Hey, if y'all like my videos, y'all been doing a good job liking, subscribing, and sharing. Keep it up. I'm up to 598 views.